Hey guys, in this video I will show you how to set up Firebase email and password authentication in React by building a simple profile application. In this demo, as you can see, it has a login page, registration page and a home page. All fields contain validations and checks, loading animations, and it has a beautiful responsive UI. The home page is fully authenticated and available to authenticated users only. And as you can see, it consists of personalized information of our authenticated user, like a personalized logo containing symbol from their first and last name, other info like user's full name, email and a logout button. Now you may be wondering how we are storing the first name and last name and then fetching it here. So basically we are using Firestore for this part, because as you probably know that Firebase authentication don't accept other fields except email and password. So we will use the combination of Firestore and Firebase authentication to create this beautiful and fully functioning profile application. The source code for this project is available on my Patron account as a digital download. I will also put the link to this in the description box below. So anyways, let's get started. First of all, let's set up a new React app. I will use React plus Vite plus Tailwind setup. Let's paste the command to install a new React app in some directory using the command prompt. I have this projects directory. I will open my CMD here and I will paste the command. Now let's change the name of the project. I will call it profile-app and let's hit enter. Now it is going to create the Vite and React setup for us. Once it is done, I will cd into profile-app and run a command to install dependencies. Now as you can see, I have got my node modules folder. So now I will run the command as npm run dev to spin the bare minimum application on my browser. The port that React Vite uses by default is 5173. So as you can see, it is the bare minimum app which has a working counter. Now I will stop the server at the moment and install Tailwind CSS by copying this command, and once this is done, I will initialize a new file which is called tailwind.config.js using this command, and then I will replace the content object with this one in my Tailwind configuration file. For this, I will close off the terminal and instead now to interact with the files and in short to develop our application, I will open this folder using my VS Code, and here I will go inside the Tailwind config file and replace my content. Now we are doing this because we want Tailwind to work with all the files and pages we will be having in our project. Now I hope you are used to port 3000 for React apps. I am also. So let's change it by going to Vite config file, and here let's add a key value pair called server, and inside the object value I will write another key value pair as port 3000. And as soon as I save my file, you will see the port is going to change and it is now 3000 successfully. Next, I will also paste these Tailwind directives in the global CSS file which is index.css. I will remove everything and paste these 3 lines here. Also, I don't need the app.css file, and I will also remove the import from the app.js file and remove the counter app, as we want to create our own new profile app. So for now I will write Firebase authentication main, as this is the main file where our custom app sits. So let's see if everything works fine. Now instead of writing all my routes app.js code here manually, I will simply copy paste the code and then I will explain it to you. So here I have copy pasted the code for our app.js file, and as you can see, it is very simple. It has header which is just a profile text that is always displayed at the top because this is outside the routes, and then it consists of 3 routes underneath which are used in our application. The /homepage route, then we have /login route and a register route. Now as we have imported these pages from the pages folder, so let's quickly create the pages folder with the JSX files and put the bare minimum content inside each. Finally, as we need React Router DOM plugin as we are using it, I will simply install it and rerun my project. Now let's test it out in the browser. So as you can see, it works fine. Also, the header is displayed at the top of each page. Next, I will simply create the home page with UI that we want. We will do the Firebase part at the end. For now, let's implement the UI. So once again, I will copy paste the code and then I will explain it. So here is the code. First of all, let's install the required package, which is Lucid React. Otherwise, it will not work. Now this is the simple package that is alternative to React Icons package, which you may have heard of. So basically you can use any one based on your interest. I have simply used this one. Anyways, once this is done, let's see the result. So as you can see, the home page is here, which is basically the profile page, which has the logo. The content is not showing because right now we don't have the dynamic values. Similarly, the full name and email are being fetched right now and we don't have any data because it is just the UI that we created. That's why you see nothing shows. Also, the logout will not work for now. So instead of dynamic values for now, let's put some dummy data and see how it looks at the end. So for instance, I will only check the full name. So let's remove the dynamic value and write some static data here and save. So here you go, this is how it looks with the value. So let's quickly go through the code and see how it works. So basically I have a user data state which is empty at the beginning. Then later using the Firebase authentication function, we will get user values and update this state. For the logo, as I showed you at the start of the video, that it is just two letters, first letter of the first name and last letter of the last name and their combination. So this is how I am getting it using getInitials function. It is simple, right? Also in the JSX, we are just printing the state values and at the bottom you will find the logout icon. We just need to add onClick event and add the special Firebase function for logout later. So this is how the profile page is done so far. So let's now also create the registration page and I will again copy paste the ready-made code that I have and then I will quickly go through it. So once again, as we don't have this React hot toast package, so first of all let's install it. And once we are done, then let's run the project and see our registration page in the browser. Cool, right? We are getting it as we wanted in terms of UI. It has all the fields and validations as well. Now let's quickly go through the code. As you can see, we have loading state and error state to showcase all the validation errors based on some conditions we have in the validated form function. Then we have the form data state to hold all form values that we need to submit to Firebase and perform the Firebase authentication. The validate form function is just setting up new errors and updating the object with validation data based on the conditions. The handle change function, as we know, is used for updating form data and fetch all the data to later submit or use for Firebase authentication. The handle submit when someone clicks on the create account button gets triggered. And inside this function, as you can see, we are checking whether we have any errors. And if we have any errors, we are just doing return. Otherwise, we are setting the loading animation on and error none. And after that, we will code the creation of users with Firebase. But before doing that, let's also create the login page quickly. Also, one thing, as you can see in the JSX, this is how we are printing the validation errors. Simple, right? Now finally, for the login page, I will again copy paste the code. Let's see how it works. It is looking good, right? So it is as simple as registration page. We are storing the values in state variable, setting up validations, and it is now ready to be submitted. So finally, as we are done with the UI and validations, etc., this is the time to integrate Firebase into our project and make it functioning. So let's head over to this article that I find useful, and it is very simple, containing the step-by-step instruction for integrating Firebase into web applications. I will also put the link of it in the description box below. So here first thing is to install Firebase. So I will copy paste the command in my terminal, and once Firebase gets installed, next I will create firebase.js file in my project's src directory. This is going to hold all the configuration that are related to Firebase. You will see what I mean in a moment. For now, let's copy paste the imports as initialize app and get auth functions. Initialize app needs Firebase config, which we will fill in the moment, and we will also need to export auth, so we can use this in other files such as in the registration page and wherever we need it. So once it is done, next I will go to Firebase console, and here I will create a new project. I will give it the same name as profile-app and turn off Google Analytics and create project. You see my Firebase project is ready, so I will click on continue. Here I will choose web and give it a name. Let's go with profile app and register app. Now this is the main thing. You need to copy the Firebase configuration into your project. Now as we are ready to be able to use Firebase authentication and other features, let's go to the official website again and let's pick authentication first from the services. Get started. Here let's pick email and password for now, and here enable email and password and click on save. So now we are ready to create new users with code. So in the register.jsx file, let's import create user with email and password and onAuth state change functions from Firebase/auth. And also let's import the auth function that we exported from firebase.js. Now I will copy paste the code for sign up with email, which is the custom function that I coded, and as you can see inside this function we are setting the loading state to true in the start, and using the create user with email and password function from Firebase we are uploading the data as email and password, and also we are printing the user data on the console that we are getting back from Firebase. The setDoc function here is again a new special function which is used to upload the first name and last name to Firestore database along with the current user ID. So this is how we are using the combination of Firebase and Firestore to achieve the goal of our profile application. And now as you noticed, you can add more data as well for the user if you like, such as profile picture, date of birth, etc. So the possibilities are endless. It depends on your application goals. My job is to teach you the fundamentals and you can then explore and play with it, and also this is the best way to learn anything. Anyways, after this we are just printing the success message using the React hot toast, and with a delay of 3 seconds we are navigating the user to home page. Now to make it working, we also need to import get Firestore function and export the db function in the Firestore config file. Also make sure to import all the necessary imports in the register page, and as you can see we are calling this sign up function from the click of the create account button. It should work. Test it out. So I will open the console for the confirmation of the user data. Now let's enter some credentials. I will go with mine and let's click on create account. So as you can see we got the user data back and we are also redirected to home page. But as you can see we are not getting the data here because we have not written the logic for it. So let's actually make it work next. In the profile page I will use the function onAuth changed to get the authenticated user data. Again I have code, so I will copy paste it, and here you can see we are using a useEffect function to get the data, And also we are making the page authenticated by checking if no user present, redirect it to login. Also for the name, we are again using user ID to fetch the correct and specific user data, which is first name and last name from the Firestore database. Again, please make sure that you have imported all the necessary plugins and functions at the top. Also, let's add the logout function, and using the logout function from Firebase, we are able to log out the user easily. So once everything is done, let's test it out this time. And here, as you can see, I got the data immediately. You can see the logo is also created with the appropriate combination of letters from the first and last name. Also, as you can see, the sign out works perfectly fine as well. So finally, for the login page, I will add handle submit function, and as you can see, it is the special function that just sign in the user. Import the necessary packages and let's try it out. So as you can see, it works fine. Also, we are getting the nice toast messages as well. So that's it. We have successfully created a profile application using Firebase. We have learned how to implement authentication and how the combination of Firebase and Firestore works amazing. For the source code, please check out the description box below. Also, I want to say, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and do share this video with your friends. Also, for more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel. At last, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next time.